I'll be doing the EFI conversion to the Ultra RAM. It has a lot of step-by-step procedures in it. One is moving the vacuum line and the transmission vacuum line. Had to remove the intake manifold and everything like that, so I'm not going to record all that stuff. Had to remove the coolant, of course, disconnect the batteries. It has all the step-by-step instructions. I'm just going down one at a time, and hopefully it works out the way it's supposed to. All right, we're up to step 8 on our list. We removed all coolant hoses, all vacuum hoses. I still got the throttle linkage to try to get loose. It's a small bolt, so I'm gonna come back to that. Next, I have to take off the intake through the intake bolts and do the water pump, the neck housing. All right, we removed the carburetor. Next, I had to remove the bolts. These bolts are 3/8 bolts. Has to be removed in order to remove the intake. All right, we got all the bolts out of the intake manifold. Next, we're removing the distributor. I'm in the process of doing that. So I had to remove all the lines and distributor. These bolts, we won't have to replace or buy new bolts for it, because these are these 12 hex bolts, and they're grind all the way down. So it's not gonna work. So I'm gonna have to find some more. All right, I have you have to block the ports. You can see the direction, block the ports. So block the ports. It said paper towel, I use toilet paper. It just said something that'll disintegrate in case it falls in the intake. Some of my intakes were blocked. My coolant ports, they were blocked. So I had to free those up. And after you scrape with the gasket scraper, you have to use the razor. So I've used both. I'm gonna have to wipe down with the brake cleaner after that. So we're in the process of doing that. All right, I've cleaned up everything, removed all the debris. Now I have to put the silicone. I'm using the Ultra Black Permatex. Have to put that around the water jets, but I'm gonna put it around the air intake also, just to be extra safe, because I had to put the gasket on around that also. All right, I have the gaskets on, everything cleaned up. Next, I have to put the intake manifold onto the intake. All right, I have the intake manifold mounted and fuel rails on. Next, it says I have to install the TPI sensor to the back. So I'll be installing that and then going from there. All right, we have the intake installed. Next, we're installing the distributor. I'm reusing my same old distributor, and put the intake holes. Had to wrap those in Teflon tape, secure those down. We're pressing on from there. All right, we have the end fittings on the fuel rails. Next, we have to install this fuel attachment on the end. process of removing the headers. You can see I got it all removed. I just got one spark plug to remove. After that, I'm going to install the O2 sensor. Alright, we got the headers off both sides. It says to go ahead and drill your O2 bomb, but what I'm going to do is first I'm going to do my wires, because it said it might need a O2 extension, so I just want to make sure that my O2 sensor is in the right place so I don't have to get an extension before I drill my O2 sensor into my headers. Alright, I decided to try to conceal my wiring a little bit, so I did it under the intake. It was pretty tedious trying to get it through, but I got it through. Then I wrapped it around back. I had to finish up, so we'll get back to it. Alright, I had to cut down the hose, put a new line on where the factory hose was, so I'm using factory line as my pull, and then this is my return line. I decided not to drill a hole in the tank. I decided to do a return line. The only problem I'm having is that return outlet is 1/4, and it asks for 3/8 line as a minimum. So hopefully it works and it doesn't leak. I'll give it a shot. If not, I'm gonna have to just cap it off and then drill a hole in the tank. All right, I got the fuel line ran. I put a zip tie. I put heat shrink just because that was the closest point. Not heat shrink, but heat protective sleeve. Just because that was the closest point to the road. I ran it along the brake line. I used zip ties, spaced them about a foot apart. So we're moving along. After that, ran the line up and then align the wheel well. And then I'm going to put my fuel pump right here, and I'm going to have to run the line across. All right, I got to move the washer, which is the windshield washer bucket. I got to remove that in order to place the Fitech fuel system right there in that area. All right, I'm in the process of just putting new fuel lines on. I had to remove the stock fuel line. I'm gonna run that along the bottom of the radiator. Got to run that to there. All right, I have to do the AN fittings for the fuel line. Just a little hint, use Scotch tape and wrap it around the AN fitting. That'll help you prevent it from scarring and damaging it, so it'll still look good once you tighten it down. All right, part of the process is drilling the hole for the O2 sensor. I've already tapped it and started to drill. I have to drill a 3/4 hole for this bracket. And try to weld it, so we'll see how it goes. Alright, we got the O2 ball set up for welding. I'm gonna attempt to weld it. If it doesn't work out, then I'm just gonna have to use the clamps and maybe some JB weld to weld it on. Alright, you can see I welded O2 sensor onto the headers. So I feel good with that weld. I did a smoke test on it. Trying to make sure any smoke came through and it was good. I'm about to install it and then go from there. Alright, I had to modify the alternator bracket. It was too long. You had to cut off the top and then niche it out a little bit in order for it to fit. The manifold, that Edelbrock manifold, and this Fitech EFI are two different lengths, so I just cut off the edge there and just modified it that way. We also got the fuel system. It's complete. It say put a pre-filter. One, it has two sets of directions. One says put a pre-filter on, one doesn't. So I decided to put a pre-filter on just because we have that pump, and that's a pretty expensive pump. So I think it deserved a pre-filter. And then that's the filter after. So all the fuel lines are ran. Fuel system is complete. And I'm gonna get this alternator bracket. Headers are somewhat on. I got to finish them up and then move on with the show. All right, we almost finished the wiring. The key to it is kind of that accessory wire, which is labeled as the key wire. You have to route that to the fan. I got it kind of labeled there. It's within the instructions, so it shows you exactly what key goes to what. Next, I have to do the EFI, hook the computer up, and I had to hook that accessory wire. You can see in the ignition box where it says ignition. You have to hook it to that ignition box, which is a peach wire. It's labeled in the kit. It's peach, and I tried to use a peach wire to replace it. And on to installing the computer and the handheld. All right, got all electrical connections connected. I still have to connect spark plug wires, but I'm waiting for valve cover gaskets. So I need to get valve cover gaskets before I lock in everything. But I am going to turn it over per directions. It says I've reattached air inlet tools, reconnect negative terminal. Let's say turnkey. Turnkey to pressurize the system and check for any fuel leaks. So I'm gonna stop there today. All right, this is the first time I'm turning the key over on my handheld, just right here. Fitech handheld. I don't think I forgot anything. I hope I didn't. If I did, I'm just have to fix it. So what we're gonna do, key was in. Ignition. Just gonna turn it over. So maybe our connections are just not tight enough. So I'm gonna tighten down some stuff. All right, this is my second attempt to get the fuel pump to cycle. I had the accessory wire right here. It was I missed it connected to the negative. So hopefully that was it. It was late, so it happens. I'm gonna try to this is take two, getting the fuel pump to cycle. Yesterday I had the accessory wire, which goes to the lights and everything. It was hooked up on a negative, so hopefully I didn't blow a fuse or mess anything up. It was late. It happens. I hooked. I moved the accessory wire onto accessory. I moved it to the accessory side. And this was I had the battery on the accessory. So I'm gonna switch that back to, I'm gonna switch to I think this is my radio. So I'm gonna leave that off for now. I'm gonna leave you see where it says accessory. I'm gonna leave that. That's the key switch. I'm gonna leave that right there. That's the peach wire. So I'm gonna try to cycle over, see if the fuel pump cycles now. All right, I have my handheld right here again. See what happens when you turn the key over. All right, yeah, I hear it. Things turning on. Grab my fuel pump. Crank up. All right, so we're gonna stop right there, get our directions, and continue on. All right, so I connected to the ignition coil, the ignition coil in my fuse box. Now I have to go and review the handset and update it. So on page 31, it says to turn the key, pressurize and check for any fuel leaks. I did that, but my fuel didn't cycle. So I'm hoping that there's nothing wrong back there in the back. I double and triple checked that. Right now I'm gonna just go ahead and set up my handheld and my ECU and then go from there. All right, one of my last steps is when I was removing the valve cover gaskets during this process, they tore. So I had to order new valve cover gaskets, unfortunately. I got some Flex Pro. I got these off Amazon for $350. So that's the part number, VS50265. Also, I went ahead, I had the separators on my spark plugs, you can see. But those I gotten kind of old, so I'm switching to red. So I bought this Moroso wire separator, so hopefully this works a little better. Doesn't have a part number on it. That's the packaging. I got this off of Amazon also. So let me get at it and see what the final result looks like. All right, this is just a little side-by-side comparison. On the left side, or passenger side, that's after I ran the lines and put the Moroso wire guides on. Looks pretty good compared to how it was before. So I'm gonna complete the other side and I'll show you a final video. Alright, this is the final product of our wires. You can see it has straightened it out a lot. Get some off the valve covers. Got a few nicks that I had to paint over. Overall, it came out pretty well. This is my initial startup. You can see in the directions, it says remember there's air in the fuel line. You need to purge it out. So it takes a few cranks to get the engine started. So that's what I'm in the process of doing. I think I'm gonna need a helping hand just because when I attempt to crank, I don't have a throttle cable yet. So what I'm gonna do is it didn't crank over the first time. So I'm gonna see, I put a clear fuel filter in. So it looks like, see, it's a clear fuel filter. It's filled with fuel. I might have a problem right there with a fuel leak. So I'm just making sure there's no fuel leaks or anything like that. So we got fuel in the fuel. Let's see if we can get it to turn over. All right, I installed the Fitech. Now I'm having a problem with my starter. It's just not turning over. So what I'm gonna do is just remove the starter and see if I can maybe test it. And I don't know if you can see because the camera is so close. Everything's so close. Remove it and then see where I can go from there. All right, doing the process of trying to start up the EFI. I burn out my starter, and you can see the starter has 3 wires on it. But the mini starter only has 2. The white wire is your ignition wire in the car, which I have illumined now. The purple wire is a wire they say you use. They say due to the fact I got a HEI cap, you don't use the ignition wire, which is white. I use black wire at the end because I had to extend it, but it's a white wire or yellow wire. They're saying you don't use that with the mini starter. So I'm gonna try it with the purple wire on the mini starter. First I'm gonna heat shrink it, not heat shrink it, but first I'm gonna use this heater protector coating sleeve. I'm gonna put that over it. So hopefully that helps it a little bit when it's under there because the headers have been melting it. So I'm gonna try that and then go from there. All right, I'm installing a new throttle cable. I had to do an LS style throttle cable. I didn't install the removal, but this is how this is supposed to be ran because I couldn't find an LS style with a ball on it. So it does have a smaller ball inside, but you install it like this. Just push it through, and then my nut is on the other side. Then I'm gonna thread the outside and then bolt it down. All right, I ran into another problem. I had a problem with my distributor. You can see the middle spade is missing, which is the negative terminal. I rode around with this for some years like this, and upon restart, it wouldn't work. All right, I got a new distributor. The new distributor has the middle spade on it. It's exactly identical, other than it has the negative. So we're gonna see if that was the problem. All right, flow side has the spring on it. The 10 micron side is the side that's open. All right, as you can see, I've ran this the new cable. Come on to the other side, and the hole is on the bottom side of the floor, right up under this little kick panel right there. So I'm gonna thread it through and see if I can connect it to the dash and see if we can get some miles per hour. All right, during the process of installing my Fitech, my muffler blew out. I had a backfire. The car was out of timing. So now I have a set of mufflers that's coming today. Black Widow mufflers I'm trying to install. So you can see the blowout. I'm trying to get this muffler off so I can be prepared when the shipment comes. All right, these are the new mufflers. I went with Black Widow offset. They are 2.5-inch inlets and exits. That was my old muffler, so I don't have any choice but to replace them. They actually look pretty good and a lot more sturdy than the other one. So hopefully I don't have any backfires and I don't have a problem with them. Instead of running the tube out the exit, I'm going to cut it off before the axle. It makes it a little easier with install, so I don't have to mess with all that tubing and everything. We'll see how it goes. I'm working on the driver's side of the vehicle. This muffler didn't go out on me. You can see I got rear exit pipe right now. And this muffler is good. I'm gonna try to remove it without damaging, but I don't think it's possible because I had a hard time on the other side, so we're gonna see how it goes. All right, this is my final end result. Got the Black Widow mufflers offset 2.5. I'm waiting on my exhaust extensions. I'm gonna run the exhaust down so it's towards the ground. Just cut off right here instead of going to the rear. Instead of going to the rear of the car like it was before, I think it'll look a whole lot better. All right, I'm using Evil Energy clamps, exhaust clamps. They look pretty nice. They're chrome. I did a turn down. So after the Black Widows, the Evil Energy clamps are those clamps, and then just an elbow, a 90-degree elbow, outside diameter, 2.5 inches, because the inside diameter of the Black Widows is around 2.5 inches. So So just to match that up, then got the clamps. Same thing with this side. Got the clamps, so exhaust is done. I'm on to the next project. Okay, this is with the Black Widow exhaust with the turn down after that.